Hello everybody, my name is Brooklyn, otherwise known as the Dramatic Otaku, and welcome to this 3-year in the making video of me comparing my Spotify Wraps. This whole idea came to me last year for last year's Spotify Wrapped, and I just so happened to the year prior upload my Spotify Wrapped to my Instagram story, so 3 years in the making. I don't really have any rhyme or reason for this video. I just wanted to share my Spotify Wrapped and like compare it to the last 3 years in terms of like the cards that you get for them, but also like wanted to share last year's Spotify Wrapped and then compare it to this year's. So first of all, we're gonna start off with this year's Spotify Wrapped and I will be playing it for you. Obviously, copyrighted music. I won't be playing the copyrighted music solely because that would be stupid. Also, it was like 1 a.m. when this came out for me and I was trying to sleep from work. So let's start with the 2023 Spotify Wrapped. 2023 is feast for your ears. I listened to 49 genres. Okay, so my top genres for this year was K-pop, alt-Z, pop, Korean R&B, and K-pop girl group. My question is, where the fuck is Escape Room? Because for this entire Spotify Wrapped, and for every Spotify Wrapped since 2021-ish, my like top 100 is usually like my liked songs, so I have over 200 liked songs in my Spotify liked list. And last year it was like a little bit of like, oh no, there's this song here that you listen to a lot and this song here that you listen to a lot. This year it was solely my liked songs. I would like to bring up 2022 Spotify as well. I don't know how to do this. Okay, so I listened to a lot less genres this year. 70 genres as compared to 49 this year. So comparing the two genres from last year, we have K-pop at the top, which is exactly the same. Then last year's was pop in second. This year's was alt-Z, which I barely know what that means. I looked it up and apparently it's like alternative music with heavy rock elements, even though the actual song itself isn't classified as rock or something. Next is Korean R&B, which this year was pop instead. Then was Escape Room, where this year is Korean R&B. Where did Escape Room go? Because I listened to all of the same songs as last year, this year. All of the same songs from last year that were Escape Room appear in my Spotify Wrapped this year. Where did Escape Room go? And if you didn't know what Escape Room was, because I got Escape Room the year prior as well, that's like Ash Nico, Charlie XX, people like that. I listened to so much Ash Nico and Charlie XX this year. Like, where'd they go? Spotify? Please let me know. And then last year, the 5th was anime, whereas this year was K-pop girl group. Why is there 2 different genres of, like, not even 2, there's like 3 different genres of K-pop. There's K-pop, K-pop girl group, and K-pop boy group. Why not just put it all under K-pop? Why make multiple like labels for K-pop that isn't like K-R&B or K-rock, stuff like that? Because K-R&B and K-rock are not K-pop, but people will, outside of the K-pop sphere, call them K-pop. So putting them into actual like K-R&B or K-rock, stuff like that makes sense. But K-pop, K-pop girl group, and K-pop boy group, I'm not seeing why those are genres. Because they're not really. It's just you listen to more K-pop girl groups this year than K-pop boy groups. No shit, Sherlock, I went and saw Twice this year. And also New Jeans had a lot of songs this year, and also XG. So of course. Anyway, moving forward with 2023. This one, okay. Places that like listen to the same stuff you do. First of all, anyone who got like similar music tastes all got put into the same spot, because Me and so many other K-pop stans got Davis USA. Where is that, babe? It's looking like it's in California. Where is that, babe?
Because we're from. We're same from.
We are from California?
Yes, we're from California.
California.
Yes, girl. Yes,
Okay,
girl. You
yes,
got this.
girl.
My friend got Iceland and I got Davis USA. I do find it interesting, but I kind of didn't care to see the schematics of who was listening to the same stuff I was, because it's just based on your top like genre, which was K-pop, which obviously to me is either going to be Korea or America. You played 3,053 songs in 2023. Now last year, instead of doing the places, they did what your vibe was throughout the year. And since they started the like day list thing, like since Spotify started the day list thing, I guess they didn't have it for this year, but last year I was Hallyu Chill in the morning, Confident Energy Comforting in the afternoon, and Confident Energy Empowering in the evening, mainly because I listen to a lot of Ashniko. Yeah, this year I played 3,053 songs, which again, most of the stuff I listened to was replayed from one of my mega playlists and my liked playlist. But there was one that really connected, Slow Song by Dragonette and The Knox. I played this 191 times this year, which I know probably isn't a lot compared to other people, but compared to other people I know, I have listened to this song more than any of them have listened to any other song like this year. This is definitely one of my favorite songs, and it appeared in almost every single one of the like Receiptify things that I did this year on Instagram, because I do that like almost every month. It's one of those like feel good songs, and if you're wondering and have seen my TikTok, yes, this is the song I was gatekeeping because I heard it so many times on other platforms and I didn't want it to get popular, because I'm a little gatekeeper, and I played this 191 times. Clearly this song is special to me and I want it to be my little thing. But you had room in your heart for more than one favorite. But in total, my top songs, now the first two don't surprise me. The middle one kind of surprises me, but also not. The last two absolutely surprise me. Slow Song with Dragonette makes sense to me. I played it a lot this year. Same with the Me You Know. I really like this song. When I first heard it, thought it was fucking awesome. I think I found it on TikTok. I cannot remember where the fuck I found it. I am almost certain I found it on TikTok. And like, it resonated with me so deeply, solely because this song reminds me of like early 2000s coming of age films where the protagonist is like a scene or an alt kid, or like is kind of outcast or something like that. I'm like, yes, this is my song. Third, Cha 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 Karia. So I like Eurovision a lot, and Cha 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 was my winner for Eurovision, even though Karia came second. It's safe to say, since Eurovision, I have been listening to his song a lot. Now, the next two surprise me a lot. I think they're only here solely because they've been in my liked playlist essentially since March. There's No One Dies From Love by Tovlo or Tuvalu, and Is There Someone Else by The Weeknd. Now, The Weeknd will also pop up as one of my top artists. Again, really weird. The Weeknd only became part of my playlist around Creator Clash, solely because Sacrifice was used in a summary for all of the fights and the winners on YouTube, and I was like, what is this melody? And decided I needed to listen to it, and then from there listened to a bunch of the other songs on that album. I only like 3 or 4 songs from this one album. So to see that it's up there is really surprising. Now, Tuvalu, No One Dies From Love. That kind of makes sense, but I didn't think I actually listened to it that much. I actually would have thought a Peach PRC song would have ended up in my top 5. Just like, I didn't expect Tuvalu to be there, nor The Weeknd, but like I can kind of see why it was there. So this year I listened to 55,940 minutes. Last year's eclipses that at 75,097 minutes. I had vowed to make my minutes higher this year, but I got a job this year and have been binging streamers because of the QSMP, so I can totally see why I didn't, especially since the computer I have, I can't listen to music and edit at the same time. I find it really difficult to focus. This year I peaked on the 11th of February with 782 minutes. How many hours is that? 13 hours. On the 11th of February, I listened to music on Spotify for 13 hours straight. 13 hours. Sorry, I just saw last year's top song, which was The List by Moonchild, which again, I listened to that song a lot last year. I get it. I listened to it 202 times. So Slow Song came close is what I'm saying. Spotify last year did it in the backwards order to Spotify this year. I listened to 3,470 songs in Spotify last year, which is still more than this year, but only by a couple hundred. So then last year my tops were The List, It Ain't Me, Charger featuring Charlie XCX, a city pop song by Yua that I can't pronounce in Korean, and Sexy Villain by Remy Wolf. Yep, that makes complete sense. Those were all my liked songs last year, pretty much. And then I curated my liked songs and then couldn't curate it anymore because I just kept liking shit. You listened to 1,594 artists this year, but one came out on top. Last year, you listened to 1,943 artists this year, but one ruled your world. Kim Petras. I have been demoted for how many minutes I spent listening to Kim Petras and how much of a fan of Kim Petras I was this year, comparatively. Because last year I spent 1,121 minutes listening to Kim Petras alone, putting me in the 0.05% of Kim Petras listeners of all time. This year, I downgraded a little bit. I only listened to half that amount of 642 minutes of Kim Petras, being in the 0.5% of fans. Now, I didn't realize it was 0.05% last year, but apparently it was. I thought it was 0.5% last year, but apparently I was wrong. So what they did this year compared to last year, I actually really liked. So last year they sort of just like, here are your top artists and we're going to put them on like a magazine cover. And so my top artists last year were like Kim Petras, Serena Sawayama, Luna, Elio, and GOT7, which GOT7 was surprising last year, but also not really. I will say the only one who stayed this year out of my top artists is Kim Petras, which is surprising because I listened to a lot of Rena this year, but apparently not enough. I will say that for this year, something that I really liked in the Spotify Wrapped is that on the section where they were like your top 5 and showing you how you listen to them, I don't know if you noticed, but the ring around the like year and the like blobs and all that is the volume at which you listen to the artist. So you can see that like I very consistently listen to Kim Petras, but across like June, July, I sort of like dropped off the face of the earth listening to her. I was listening to her more around like January, February, March, dropped a bit in April, listened to her a bit in May, dropped off completely in June, listened to her in July, and then really ramped up around spring. Listening to her the most in September when she drops new music. So yeah, I really think that's cool, and I really would like Spotify to do this next year again. Next would be XG, which like this is just a roller coaster, quite literally, with like the perfect points between the end of November and June being like big times I listen to XG with huge dips next to them. Also, clearly I listen to a lot of XG between August, September and October, and the thing is I listen to XG a lot, but mainly on YouTube because like I like watching their dances. It's one of the best parts of XG, watching their dances while they're singing. I think it's really cool, and I'm so fucking devastated. They came to Australia this year and I didn't get to go, solely because I think the week before Twice was in Australia and I chose to go to Twice. Also, XG went to Sydney and not Melbourne. So yeah, I was like, damn, I didn't get to see XG this year, but like also I listened to so much XG this year. I can't wait to see them more. Now, this helped me understand why The Weeknd was in my top 3. That's why I like this so much, because it helps you understand why these people are in your top 3. Because look at how much I fucking listened to The Weeknd across the entire year. This is mostly around winter, and like I was even consistent throughout until October, dropping off in November. Clearly, I listened to him a lot more than I initially thought, but you can sort of see around April, this like spike and like consistency for listening to The Weeknd. So yeah, around Creator Clash-ish. But yeah, I'm just like, oh, okay. I listened to The Weeknd a lot more than I thought I did. Then we have Precious, who I do listen to quite a bit, though you can see at the start of the year I listened to her like a lot, because it was like she's very summery in her music, I'd say. This sort of dropping off around May, like get kind of depression, and I haven't really listened to her since I've started work, solely because I will sort of go to my top favorite songs to put me in a really good mood, and like Precious is like any time of day listen, but not if you're stressed. And like before June I didn't have a job, so before June is the most time that I listen to her. Though I do still love her, absolutely. And then is Peach PRC, which is probably the most like up and down. I'm surprised I didn't listen to her a lot in November, because like I fucking love her. But like, what's it called? It sort of depends on like what songs I'm listening to from her. Like Symptomatic is probably the one song that I listen to the most. Then what would be the next one? Probably God Is a Freak, because that was the main one that I listened to last year. But yeah, I'm also really sad I haven't been able to get any Peach PRC tickets yet, and I really want to see her live. But yeah, so I really like this. Spotify, please do this next year. I would like to know my listening patterns. But yeah. Next is like the extra thing that they make up every year. So last year it was like your personality trait based on your like music. And this year it's like a card, like a tarot card. So last year I was an adventurer. I'm a seeker of sound, a venture out into the unknown and searching for fresh artists, deeper cuts, and newer tracks, especially gems yet to be found. This year I'm a time traveler. I listen to all the same songs over and over and over again. I'm done adventuring. But yeah, I don't know why Spotify does this. It kind of doesn't really have a purpose, but yeah. And like, that's the entire Spotify Wrapped. I will say, like, the main stuff that I liked this year as compared to last year is probably the, like, you can see the time you listen to the artist, and it plays probably the song that you listen to the most this year, though I don't think it did for Kim Petras this year. Okay, now the part you've all been waiting for, my comparative between my top genres of the last couple of years. Now, first things first, Kim Petras is in every single one of these. However, the one time I haven't had Kim Petras at the top of my Spotify Wrapped would be in 2021, when ID took the top spot because I listen to ID as much as I listen to the likes of like Slow Song and The List. Kim Petras came in second in 2021. She was making her way up the list. Then we have Red Velvet, Fall Out Boy and Monster X, which made sense to me at the time. I feel like it's one of the only Spotify Wrapped that has made sense to me. I'm like, yes, that perfectly sums up my music taste. ID, Kim Petras, Red Velvet, Fall Out Boy and Monster X, they are some of my favorite artists, and I couldn't have asked for a more perfect Spotify Wrapped there. The songs also made sense for that year. We had Immaterial by Sophie. We had Immaterial by Sophie, Caffeine by ID, so Caffeine didn't quite make the top spot that year, Fairy Shampoo by TXT, Sex Paranoia by Goldilocks, and Demons by Kim Petras, with my minutes listened to being 39,754, rookie numbers, and my top genre being K-pop. Last year, 2022, Kim Petras snuck up and took the top spot, despite none of her songs being in the top places. We had Rina Sawayama being in second place, which made sense to me. We had Luna, we had Elio, which I'm pretty sure is just for Charger, because I didn't listen to Elio's other songs other than Charger because it had Charlie XCX in it. And then GOT7. I did actually listen to a surprising amount of GOT7 in 2022. It's also surprising because none of GOT7 songs made the top songs. The top songs though were The List by Moonchild, It Ain't Me by Dua Lipa. I listened to that a lot, so I'm surprised she didn't make my top artists. Charger featuring Charlie XCX by Elio. I don't know the Korean words by Yua, and Sexy Villain by Remy Wolf. I listened to that a lot as well, and peaked at 75,097 minutes, which, like, I was unemployed last year and in the middle of uni, of course I listened to that fucking much. And my top genre was, surprise surprise, K-pop. So this year, Kim Petras claims the crown again, and I'm actually surprised because this is the only year where one of my top artists, there's only one non-Western act. I don't know whether to call XG K-pop or J-pop. I'm pretty sure they're the Japanese K-pop group. That's how they're being presented. Or no, they're the worldwide K-pop group or something like that. This is the only year where only one K-pop act is in my top artists, and it's dubious if they're K-pop or if they're Kim Petras takes top spot again. Makes sense. The Weeknd was surprising. Again, I listened to 2 songs on repeat constantly from The Weeknd, but I am weirdly consistent. So, okay, that makes sense, and I probably only would have understood solely because of that ring thing that they showed us with our Spotify Wrapped. Then we've got Precious, makes sense. I listen to her a lot. I've got a couple of songs in my liked playlist because of her. And then Peach PRC, which makes sense, and I'm so happy she made the list because I have fallen in love with Peach PRC this year. Minutes listened, I downgraded by 20,000 minutes. We are now at 55,940 minutes listened this year. I fully blame my job for this one, as well as me editing constantly and also the QSMP, because I can't listen to music and the QSMP at the same time. Because if there's an event going on, there's already 1,000 voices fucking playing at one time. I don't need the voices of a singer and music. And my top genre, coming in 3 for 3, is K-pop. So, the sole reason I believe K-pop has been my top genre for 3 years running, is because I have a playlist called All the Songs I've Wanted for the last however many years. I believe it's going on 9 years at this point, profile, and it's got over 1,500 songs, and I pretty much add, as the title suggests, any and every song that I've wanted over the past 8 years to it. And you may be wondering, well, how do you know how many songs you've wanted over that past 8 years? Because I would add them to a list I would either go on YouTube, find the songs on YouTube, or there was this app called SBS Pop Asia, which is like a radio show in Australia. It says in the name, it's Pop Asia. It's pop from Asia. And it's all across Asia. It's not just K-pop, but it is a majority K-pop. So a lot of the songs that I put on this playlist I got from listening to that app, and not all of the songs that I wanted from that app, they all go into this playlist, and every so often I will like sit and listen to this playlist for non-stop several hours. Not to mention every single one of my playlists does have K-pop in it in some degree. That has been my Spotify Wrapped and my ramblings on my Spotify Wrapped. I hope you guys enjoyed this video to some extent. I just like talking about this shit. And I think something fun about Spotify Wrapped is I think people just like looking at statistics and they don't realize they do. Like, of course it's a trend and people like jumping on trends and shit, but like I think people just like looking at the statistics of what they listen to all the time. Even like a year on from when they first started listening to this sort of stuff, and I definitely like that aspect. Will I do a comparison next year? Probably not. What will I be doing from here on out? Curating my liked playlist so I don't have all of the songs from my liked playlist on my Spotify Wrapped for next year, because I don't want that. I would like some variety and something to surprise me. So I'll be doing that now. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye.